Belichick's mind, in my point of view. So he's teetering because here's the next question. What if Bill Belichick decides, and again, you said that Mac Jones was the readiest to play of all the young, the rookie quarterbacks. Yep. So what if Belichick just plunges on this and he goes with Mac Jones in game number 1? Would he keep Cam as the backup quarterback? Because I can't even imagine Cam Newton as a backup. He's just better than that. Like, he's proven too much, and it's beneath him to be a clipboard holder on the side.
Well, Cam's going to have to play some of his best football in order to keep that job for the entire season, or he's going to be a backup, or he's going to be an unemployed quarterback.
Or he's going to be an unemployed quarterback. So that leads to this question. Let's just go all the way to the bitter end. What if he goes with Mac Jones in game 1 and he just cuts Cam Newton and says, I'll just take Brian Hoyer as my backup because he's a long-time proven backup. He's been with the Patriots a couple of times. He knows it. So Belichick's saying it'll be less pressure on Mac.
Right.
You know, I'll take some pressure off the kid. Right. Because if Cam's looking over your shoulder, yeah, that's a big presence.
Skip, if it's not like it's a big financial burden to keep Cam.
No.
Skip, they're basically paying him minimum money. He got a lot of money tied up in incentives, going to the Super Bowl, going to Pro Bowl and All-Pro and throwing for this many yards and that, yada, yada, yada. But as far as just base money, there's not a whole lot tied up. But one thing that we know about Coach Belichick, he values team over individual. And the most important thing to him is team. Okay, what is Cam doing that could possibly harm the team? Being unvaccinated and putting the team at risk, because now all of a sudden he gets COVID again and now he's out. So in other words, you put yourself in front of the team. We know how Coach Belichick feels about players that he deems in his eyes as being selfish, and team, Patriots, does not come first.
Okay, so it's incomprehensible to me that Cam would choose not to get vaccinated. He may have a personal reason I don't know, and that I would appreciate if I heard it. I'd say, okay, I honor that. But to me, from the outside looking in, if I were in those shoes or cleats right now, man, I'd be saying, I need to be vaccinated because I've opened a little window here of opportunity, and plus I'm a little bit vulnerable here.
I'm not giving them a reason. To put Mac Jones in there.
That's correct, and I'm not giving Belichick a reason to cut me because I'm at more risk now to get COVID a second time and have more problems with it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in the end, is it possible that he's risking getting cut? And then that leads to the final question. Would anybody else pick up Cam Newton right now?
I mean,
is he teetering on being out of football?
I'm trying to rack my mind who is like really quarterback deficient, because a lot of these teams, Skip, they went in the draft and they got rookie quarterbacks or they seem to be set at that position. Could he possibly? Your
Broncos are still struggling. They don't seem to, although Drew Lock had a big game the other night. But
Teddy, I think Teddy's going to win the job.
He probably will. But are they set? Would they be better off with Teddy and Drew Lock over Cam Newton? I don't know. If there were a big injury to a quarterback.
Oh, yeah, that's always a possibility.
It's always a possibility. Then maybe Cam would get a shot.
But then, Skip, you got to come in and you got to learn a whole new offense.
Right. Okay.
There's a reason why a lot of times quarterbacks don't change teams in the middle of the season like all the other positions, because you're asking an awful lot of a guy. And we think there's some of our smartest players to come in and learn an entirely different system and be up to speed and be able to take off with it.
Yep. So I remind you, about a year ago, as we headed into week 1, what happened to Tyrod Taylor with the Chargers?
Yes.
Remember, he had, unfortunately, an injection in his rib cage.
It was the second week.
Was it week 2 or
week 2?
It's week 2. Okay, so it's week 2.
Because he started this,
And he got the injection, and unfortunately, it went a little too far, and it punctured his lung.
Yes.
And it wasn't his fault. It wasn't because he wasn't vaccinated. You know, it just happened. It was a bad accident, and it was the team doctor's fault. And guess what happened? He got Wally pipped, as they say about
Justin Herbert got in the game, and Tyrod Taylor never got back in the game.
So at least Tyrod got a second shot now in Carolina, or another shot in Carolina.
He in Tennessee, at the Houston Texans.
I mean, the Texans, sorry. Yeah, the Texans. So the point is that you have to be careful about these opportunities for these young quarterbacks, because if they seize the day, and I respect Mac Jones. I think he will give you all he's got.
Yes.
I think his ceiling is lower than a Trey Lance to me, or a Zach Wilson, or
Trevor Lawrence
that we saw last night we're about to talk about. But the point is that you better be careful because Mac Jones won a national championship last year. Mac Jones has played at the highest levels of college football and played very well.
Right.
And I think he's very tough mentally and tough physically.
Right.
He took a lot of punishment last year.
Well, considering that he played for Coach Saban, you know he's got to be tough mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, because you know how Coach Saban is. Coach Saban he learned everything under Coach Belichick. He was his defensive coordinator in Cleveland.
Okay. So in the end, I believe Cam's in big jeopardy right now more than you do. I think this is really thin ice for him.
Well, he brought it on himself, Skip. He brought this on himself. The NFL has made it abundantly clear. If you read the protocol, Skip, when they came out with it, everybody, man, why I got to do all this? And unvaccinated players can go here and I can't leave and go see my family. The NFL says, yeah, you're absolutely right. Go get vaccinated, and then you can have guests at the hotel, or then you can leave the hotel. Because if you do leave that hotel and you're unvaccinated, the fine that we're going to levy on you is going to be steep. And you're going to think twice about leaving the hotel again. So I don't know players. I don't know. Look, this was collectively bargained. This is what the NFL, this is what the owners, this is what they laid down, because they're not going to have you blow this season up because of you being reckless. That's not going to happen.
And finally, the Boston Herald pointed out that 3 former Patriots of some stature have spoken up and out for Mac Jones. And that would be Rodney Harrison, Damian Woody, and Rob Ninkovich have all spoken out that they believe Mac Jones should start game 1. So there's a groundswell for the kid. And this is what Cam is up against, and this is what he has risked.
Right. But like you said, Skip, but he put himself in harm's way by doing this, by leaving them to let Coach Belichick get extra looks, because he's not there for the next, what, you say he can come back Thursday? So maybe. he's not there. So all these reps where he would have been splitting and Cam could have been oohing and wowing them also. Now this is all Mac. Now, it said yesterday he didn't get off to the greatest start, but he finished really well.
Well, I will remind you, in the preseason so far, Cam has played 29 snaps. Mac Jones has played 77 snaps. So they're trying to A, see what they got, and B, get him as ready as fast as they can.
But here's another question, Skip. They play on Sunday. Who's going to play will give you a big indication of who's going to start. If Cam doesn't play, I think Cam's the starter the following week. The following 2 weeks, 2 weeks.
Right, 2 weeks.
We got to move on for now. Will the Saints be even better this year without Drew Brees, and should